Go Chundria, Chundria, it's Chundria Show.
I am celebrity designer Angela Dean, and you are watching the Chundria Show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's an honor. How are you today?
I'm great.
You feel good?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Excited.
Okay, this is my number one question I've been dying to ask you is take me back to the 80s.
Oh my God.
You opened your boutique on Melrose Avenue in Hollywood as a Black female designer.
Yes.
Tell me, was there a need you felt like? Was it a long time dream? What was it in that moment when you said, I'm gonna set up shop here?
Well, actually, it was a suggestion from the gentleman that was doing my hair. He had a hair salon upstairs on Melrose. And he said, you know, you've been making all this money for all these companies for some time now. You need your own place. So I think you should try and get the store downstairs that's available.
Okay.
And I'm like, what am I gonna do with a store? Come on now. He said, yeah, and you need to name it Dean Zine. And I said, Dean Zine?
He chose the name too?
He chose the name,
Okay.
and he's not with us anymore.
Okay.
Bless his heart, he passed some years ago. But he gave me a gift in that name. And I was really not feeling the name because I didn't, you know, I kept saying Dean Zine, but the more I said it and the more it resonated in my mind, like, wow, that's Dean and Zine. So, like, does design, you know? So it was really a great thing.
So at that moment when you were getting your hair done there, were you designing clothes?
Yes, I had been designing downtown Los Angeles. I graduated from Fashion Institute and done some other, you know, extension to my education, but in fashion. But that was the time when I was working pretty heavily in the fashion industry.
Okay.
And so he was trying to say that I heard, you know, you've shared so many times about how much money you've taken these companies and made for them. And why are you not doing something on your own? He encouraged me.
I love that.
To move and to be independent and like
take your brand,
take my
your
brand
talents,
and everything
to the next
and that
level.
was really early on, way before now with Instagram and social media and all those things that we have now.
So much now. You don't even have to leave your house and promote.
Yes, but I stepped out and I did it, and it was a great decision. I was one of the first Black designers, I would say, on Melrose with the store at that time. And it was exciting because we had Koala Blue down the street, Margie Kent, which was a very well-known designer to a lot of the entertainers in Black Hollywood, was not far from me as well. So it was a great experience.
Sounds like it, my gosh. Tell me what you love most about your company, Dean Zine. What's your design style?
Oh, wow.
So I was looking at your website, and I love your stuff. So, like, what's your design style?
I think my design style is classic and timeless. You know,
I like the black. I love the black. The way the sheath dresses, where the dresses are cut.
Yes. If you ever buy something from me, it will last for many, many years, not only in its value, but its style. Because I feel like, you know, we have so many different trends that are amazing that come through every 6 months. But
and they're recycled.
The secret is, that's what I was getting ready to say, they're recycled.
Right.
Just named another color or another style or whatever. But I like the consistency of timelessness and really beautiful, elegant things that can kind of resin where it doesn't have any like specific time, like you can only wear this in the summer, you can only wear this in the winter. I think you should be, you know, year-round, be able to diversify a lot of things through those choices.
Right.
So I've created that for women.
Yes, you have.
Yes.
Yes, you have. Now, you're a legend for designing the largest selling cover in the history of Essence magazine, the 2030th anniversary edition that featured some powerful leading ladies: Queen Latifah, Halle Berry, Jada Pinkett Smith, Vivica A. Fox, Loretta Devine, Regina King, Elise Neal, Michael Michelle. I mean, you've had so many monumental moments in your career, aside from, you know, you've worked with Patti LaBelle and Paris Hilton. Tell me about this, the Madonna bullet bustier.
Oh my God, that was great.
You know?
In around late 80s, actually, I after having my store on Melrose, I went to work for a store that's really well known in Los Angeles called Trashy Lingerie, and we did from, you know, corsets and evening gowns and dresses and that type of thing, where we built the corsets inside. But at the time, Madonna's stylist came And we were really well known for doing movies and videos and things like that where we supplied different looks of lingerie. And she came with a 50s bullet bra and said, I really want to do something for Madonna to change her image, you know. She was a material girl at that time, really fun and cool. And so I came up with a concept for her that included in a corset, and it was a black corset with gold tassels on the tips.
Which is like, it's everywhere.
Which really just took it to another level. And then after that, I think she did that for Open My Heart video, and then after that, I actually designed the gold corset that laced up, that Jean Paul Gaultier did the rendition of when she went on her next tour. So it was really an amazing moment for me and a historical moment because I never knew how amazing that whole story would end up being years after, that was really an iconic moment for her and for myself as well, but I did not get the credit for it. So now it's time to share the story.
Now it's time.
Yes.
So let's compare those iconic moments because you've done that.
Yes.
You also did the cover of Essence. So, you know, as a black woman, you know, how did that feel?
Well, by the time I did Essence, it was 2000. So you're talking about what, 15 or so years later. And so the field was a different world at that time, meaning that, you know, we were a little bit more accepted. But my story about the Essence cover did get some traction due to the fact that the 8 leading ladies, they had never done a cover like that before in the history of Essence with 8 leading women. And so it was a very complicated concept that ended up being very much historical because so many black women, when they found out I did that cover, they were like, oh my God, that's my favorite cover. I've duplicated it and put it on the wall or it's been on my table.
Vision boards all over the world.
All over the world. So it was a very much of a historical moment for that being 8 women on a cover at one time. And Halle being in the middle was just iconic.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. How do you personally feel about all you've accomplished in your career? Like, what do you attribute to your success?
I attribute that my creativity is just extensive. So when I'm given a project or something that I see a vision into, it just becomes a whole nother level of dynamics within designing and creating for whatever that is. And so I've had so many different various moments where I was called in to create something that was unique and different unto whatever else had been done before. So with the Essence cover, because it was 8 leading ladies, and they gave me a bouquet of flowers actually that to be inspired by. And so I had to figure out the colors that was best on them, what their body types was, what was best, you know, style-wise. They removed all jewelry and shoes. They were barefooted. They had a first fold-out cover in the history of Essence as well. So not only was that cover there, but there was a fold-out of them.
So it was a lot of planning.
It was a lot of planning, yes. But the beauty was that it was focused on the essence of their beauty individually through the color and the style that was chosen. And that's where I came in. And just hit
Your
it right
gift
there. It just came in and did its thing.
Through.
Yes.
That's incredible. Let's talk about your brand, Shaped by an Angel, and why you have such an affinity for women.
Oh my God. Because I've dealt with the music and entertainment business and had an incredible array of body types and personalities that I designed for, that became my forte. And so it extended out to women because all women are beautiful no matter what their body type, shape, or size is. And we've been so stuck sometimes in what the media says or, you know, what's been known to be common in terms of a certain size. And that's been pushed into our psyche. But it's not really the true essence of who we all are because we're all different and unique unto ourselves. So I celebrate and want women to celebrate who they are, where they are. You can always improve, but when you can accept yourself where you are and feel good about that, it takes you to that next level.
And you're empowering women to be more confident, to love their bodies at all sizes, at all shapes. Love yourself.
Love yourself. That's the point because, you know, many of us, everybody is not made alike. So, you know, God just created uniqueness. So I think it's important to celebrate it. We shouldn't pigeonhole any one thing in any way. And that's the beauty of what we have today, is being able to be diverse and unique and individualized. And I encourage that.
And with such an amazing career, you know, I'm assuming that you still continue to encourage and inspire women.
Well, that's my next extension.
Okay.
You know, I've given a lot to the entertainment business. I love all of you. But I think it's time to expand the gift and to really touch women. That's why I started Shaped by an Angel. And so my intention is to expand that into what I offer, and that would be fashions according to your body type is my goal. So eventually on my website, I want to be able to have you shop by body type as you do the same with my Shapewear.
I like that.
And all of that'll flow into itself.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just give women information.
I love it. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the Chundria Show today.
Thank you.
How can we continue to follow your journey?
Well, you can follow me at I am Angela Dean on Instagram, and Angela Dean and on Facebook and Twitter. Shaped by an Angel is all the way through on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget Dean Sign. That is my company, which is DEANZIGN, and that's on all platforms as well.
Design.
Yay!
Thank you for being on the show today.
Get to know Cheryl Cobb and her amazing new book, 10 Dirty Little Secrets.
I'm Cheryl Cobb, Entertainment Manager and author of 10 Dirty Little Secrets, and you're watching The Chundria Show.
4, 3, 2.
It's an amazing day right here on the Chundria Show, and I'm most excited about my special guest, Cheryl Cobb.
Hello, Chundria.
Hello there. How are you today?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
It's so beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Sisters.
I am excited to talk to you about your book,
Yes.
Dirty Little Secrets.
Actually, it's 10 Dirty Little Secrets.
10 Dirty Little Secrets.
Yeah.
Tell me your inspiration for writing this book.
Experience.
Experience. We don't have enough people that have experience and want to go out and tell.
You know, I've been in the business for quite a while, and I've had some good days and I've had some bad days. And I look at how the industry has changed, and these kids, they're coming in and it looks like you could be an overnight sensation because of social media. But, you know, sometimes they're one-hit wonders. And so I really talk about having a longevity in your career, whether it be singing, dancing, acting. You could be an assistant, an agent, a manager. But it talks about these 10 little things that you need to know about the entertainment industry that's going to happen over and over again. And it never fails, and I know because it's happened to me. My first chapter is called You're Going to Get Fired.
You're going to get fired. Why did you choose that as the first chapter?
Because we've all been fired.
Okay.
And sometimes, maybe in a polite way, you know, this is not going to work out, or, you know, you're not.
Blame it on something.
Yes, you're not quite the fit, but, you know, we have you on our Rolodex, we'll get back with you. It's still the same feeling of being fired, right? And so when you're fired, you just get this negative emotion, and you really start having self-esteem problems. You start questioning yourself and saying, hey, you know, am I good enough? Is somebody better than me? What am I doing wrong?
What I want to do?
Is this what you start second guessing what you really, really know? But it's easy because it's easy to get in that headspace because people really are, you know, when they are chasing this dream, and then somebody just kind of stabs you in the heart, it just feels like it's all over. So I talk about being fired because you're going to get fired, and it's about the recovery, how you recover from being fired, and then there's steps to recovery, and I talk about the emotions and the disbelief, and then the anger, because sometimes you get angry at the person that fires you, and then you start talking. And sometimes that talking could be kind of negative, which is not good if you want to be in the industry. But that's just
if you want to recover from it.
And you want to recover from now. That's just what I was going to say, because sometimes you have to go through these steps. It's like getting a divorce. It's like a death. It's like steps to recovery. So once you get past the, oh, I'm fired, oh, I'm mad, and now I'm mad at the person, then you start having self-doubt.
Right.
And then when you really kind of sit down, you really have to take the steps to press through it and find out really at the end of the day, nobody can take away what you know. everything that you've studied, everything that you think you are, that you've looked in the mirror, that you've studied to be, that your teachers, your church, your community, but it doesn't even matter. If you know this is what you really want to do, then guess what? It lies within. So you didn't like me, it's okay. Somebody else will, and you just have to keep trying.
That's a great attitude to have.
You know what?
That's a great attitude.
Thank you. And you know, it's funny because if you don't have that attitude, you could go to really a dark place. And I've been there, and everybody's been there. So I just really talk about knowing that it's gonna happen, and here's how to recover from it. But once you recover, you soar into your next.
What was the thing that you were really interested in doing when you jumped into the industry?
Honestly, I was 5 years old. This is funny, but true story. I was 5 years old, and I had this brick wall in front of my house, and I used to be in love with Michael Jackson.
Okay, Michael Jackson.
And I thought that I was gonna be his girlfriend.
Okay.
And
At 5 years old.
At 5 years old.
Okay.
And I would go and sit out in front of on my little stoop and wait for them to pick me up. The limo was coming any day. It was gonna come and pick me up. I was gonna be a singer and a dancer. I'm not a good singer at all, but a singer and a dancer. And yeah, I was gonna pick me up. And so I was like, I'm gonna be in the entertainment industry. There was a band across the street from my house. Pardon me 1 second.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Not on camera though, right? It's all right.
We got it.
I just have a weekend nose drip,
That's
so
okay.
sorry about that.
You okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
Can we pick up?
Yes.
So there was a band across the street from my house that used to play. They were much older. It was a high school band. And it was like Patrice Rushen and Dugu Chancellor and all these people. But I was a little girl, and I was like, wow, that's really great. And they would let me come over and play the tambourine. And I would come and I'd sit there. My godbrother used to play the saxophone, and he would let me play the tambourine.
God, you were so immersed so early.
And I knew this is what I wanted to do. I want to be in this business. I don't know if I'm going to sing, dance, act. I tried it all, and I ended up in managing, and now in television. So, and now I'm an author, and I want to talk about it, and I want to teach.
Splendid. What artists have you worked with in your career? I know. Just rattle off a few.
I'll just give you a few. So I started off, well, actually, before I was an artist, I used to be an assistant at William Morris Agency.
Okay.
And so I was lucky not to have to work in the mailroom, and I had a desk, and I was working for a literary agent. I hated it. And everything that you see on TV, Jerry Maguire, all that stuff, Show Me the Money, that is really, really true. And when I saw them throwing ashtrays and yelling at their assistants, I was like, well, where I'm from, you don't throw anything at me. And you don't yell at me. We have respect for each other, or, you know, I just didn't understand that language, and I didn't like it, and I didn't like the way it felt. So I went out, and honestly, my first job, I landed with Luther Vandross. And I left a really great job to go and be a hospitality director. So I used to do all these dressing rooms, this pipe and drapery.
Oh, okay.
I would order the food, the furniture. I would do the backstage passes, work with the radio stations, record label, media. And we would, every night after the show, and he would do world tours. We would have these big meet and greets, and I would host the meet and greets, and I would have this little personality, and they would call me Miss Hospitality. And I would just host all these parties and events for Luther after his shows. And then probably about 6 months later, he had a big international tour in Europe, and he asked me to be a road manager. He was playing with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra in London. So I went over to be a road manager for the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra.
I mean, what is your mind? Like, I know it's so passe, but like Luther Vandross is the height of his career, and you are traveling as his hospitality manager.
And then his tour manager. and you know what? I knew I could do it. It goes back to that dirty little secret that it all lies within.
So in that moment, it wasn't a shocker. Like, this is right where I'm supposed to be.
It was a shocker that in the timing that I'd only known him for about 6 months, and he invited me to come in and go to London. The Royal Philharmonic Orchestra is huge. That's not just these are the creme de la creme of an orchestra in the world.
Absolutely.
And so, and boy, they gave me a hard time. But actually, I had, you know, from my college education, and I came from a really good organization called Up With People, which we'll talk about later, which teaches you how to deal with people. So from all over the world, different countries, different cultures. So I took some of the lessons that I'd learned in my education, and applied them, and it worked out. And a lot of times I was scared, but I was like, I could do this. And I would wake up every day and go, you know what? I could do this. And I did. So each opportunity that opened up for me, it was just kind of like, I've never done this before, but I can do it.
So they were asking you to do things that maybe you weren't familiar with, but you had that can-do attitude. Like, you want me to do a hospitality suite? I've never done a hospitality suite, but I'm gonna do a hospitality suite today.
It's a party. I can do a party.
I can do a party for food.
I can do a party food. Order things. My next job was with Toni Braxton.
Okay.
So before I was her manager, her day-to-day manager, I was her road manager. She called me and said, I was her assistant, first of all, for
this was
3 days. After Luther,
okay.
I got a call. Toni was looking for an assistant. I was her assistant.
Because of your success with Luther, now your name's in the street.
My name was in the street, and that's what happens. You gotta get your name out there, you gotta do a good job. I worked for her for 3 days. She fired me, and I quit. But it's okay.
And you quit?
She did. She hired me to be her assistant. Oh. And when I was doing the assistant job, but I knew it wasn't for me.
Okay.
I knew that job wasn't for me. And she recognized it too. And she said, you should be doing like a managerial type of job. And I was like, yes, I should be. So about 3 months later, she called me up and she says, I'm going to Europe. I need a tour manager.
3 months later.
3 months later, and she hired me, and we went to Europe. I didn't have any contacts in Europe other than in London. So I called a friend, and I was like, I need your black book. I need to know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I told her I could. So he said, come over to my house. I'm going to go. Here's trucking companies, busing companies, food companies. And I sat with a good friend that I met during Luther Vandross, his tour manager.
So you're resourceful.
You gotta use your resources.
Tips.
You do.
Be resourceful.
Be resourceful. That's correct. And everywhere I go, I try to make relationships, and I try to build them and keep them. You stay in contact because there's something that we can give each other. You might have something that I don't have. So he taught me a lot of things. I went on to travel with Toni around the world, and then she asked me to be her day-to-day manager, so I ended up managing her. So we traveled. When Lady Di died in Paris, we were there, and Belgium, Spain. We traveled the world together, and it was a great time. So I was with Toni for several years, and a few other people I could name that I worked with. Shantae Moore,
okay,
good friend, and I managed Shantae for the past 7 years, and Fantasia. Yeah, Fantasia. Oh my God, she's like Shantae is amazingly talented too. These are two amazingly talented women in their own right. Shantae's earned her name. She's phenomenal. But we did three seasons of R&B Divas, and we did Unsung, and we've traveled the world, Africa, and all over Asia together. So we've had a really good time. But Fantasia, I used to be a producer on American Idol, which we'll get to that later. Yes, that little bitty show.
That's where you met Fantasia?
That's where I met Fantasia. I was brought in to be her manager, and to be a producer on the show. Actually, when they offered,
which came first?
Well, this the baby came first.
Okay.
I had my daughter, and
okay,
I was watching TV, promise. And I was really trying to, can I take one step back?
Yes.
I used to run R. Kelly's record label.
Okay.
And when I left that whole organization, I was like, I'm getting out the business. I just can't do this anymore. It's just too much. It's too painful. It's just too much. So I got married, had a baby, and I was 9 months pregnant, and I was watching American Idol. It just started.
And you were over it. You were like, I'm good.
Oh yeah, I didn't even go to work. I was just like, after I have the baby, I'll start over. I'll just start over, and we'll create some new things. So, and I wanted to go into television. I got a call after my daughter was born from a good friend over at CAA. Okay. Jeff Rasco, that's his name. He's a fantastic agent. He does everybody and everything. You name it, he's worked and created tours for. But he called me up. He said, hey, I have somebody I want you to meet. So I was like, I gotta go back to work. I'm ready to go. So I went in, and he introduced me to this British guy, very nice, soft-spoken gentleman. We talked, and about 15 minutes of talking, he said, okay, you're hired. You're gonna come work with me. And
after 15 minutes of talking?
And I was like, okay, well, what are we doing? He was like, I have somebody that I need. I have this show, and it's just a new show. And he said, but we just have this young lady that we're looking for a manager for. And I said, who? And he said, Fantasia. And I was like, that's the girl I saw on TV while I was pregnant, and I just had the baby. and I think she's phenomenal.
And you're asking me to be her manager.
And you asking me to be your manager. That's how it happened. And then I said, okay, now this is what I'm gonna do. I'll do that. But really, ultimately, I want to be a producer. And I want to be a producer. Make me a producer on American Idol, and I'll manage Fantasia. So he said, okay.
So you negotiated.
Yes. Yeah, who am I? But I did it because it all lies with him.
Now, how are you handling juggling motherhood, new motherhood, producing for American Idol, managing Fantasia's career?
Yes. That was a mouthful.
What, where?
No.
What, where, how, when?
That's a mouthful.
But God.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad. Honestly, but God. Everything else happened in divine order.
Okay.
So, it's just a walk of faith. I could do this.
Okay.
So
And you did it.
I did it. My daughter, I've been traveling since she was born. So that's just a way of life for her.
Mm-hmm.
So I always made sure, at the time, I'm not married anymore, but at the time my ex-husband was always home when I traveled, and I always had a nanny to watch her when I traveled, and family, just my village, my friends. My village is
Resources.
huge. There you go again, that word keeps coming back, but the village.
Resources.
But as we start to grow, she traveled with me, and
Okay.
so she's been around the world as well. And I am a superwoman.
Yes,
so
you are.
You have to multitask. So as a mother, I'd get up in the morning, get her ready, send her to preschool, go to school, go to work over at 19 Entertainment in Hollywood. And then we shoot 3 days live for American Idol. And then I would have to be there all the way until at least 10 o'clock at night. I'd drive home and put my daughter to bed and get up the next morning, get her ready. And that's how it went for several years. And then until she was able to travel with me. So it was just really just doing what we have to do, because you know what? Some people have to get up and go to Walmart every day or Target. And guess what? They have to be there. They have to be there on time. They have to work overtime if they want to make extra money. They got to cook, clean, and still make sure and take care of their husband or wives or spouse or
Right.
their spouses. So it's about really doing what you have to do, and that's what I did. I just
And
did
if you
it.
want it bad enough, you'll
If you
do
want it
everything
bad
that
enough,
you have
you'll
to
do
do.
whatever it is that you need to do to make it work, long as it's all within the plan of respect, and I was able to keep integrity. So that was always important to me. But
So this book is for the person who is in love with what they do. They just need the industry insight from you to keep going. Here's a couple rules.
This book is for, I'll tell you what, it is for the person that's trying to get into the industry, that I have my EP, I have my photos, I have a record, I have producers, I've gone around, and I keep hitting a brick wall, and I don't know what to do. Well, come talk to me. I can give you the next step. Because after you have your package, everybody goes, I have it, I'm ready. Well, no, there's a lot more. There's other steps to launching your career.
And I'll tell you what those steps
And
are.
I'll tell
in
you
this book.
what those steps are in this book.
She don't Chundria, I know Chundria, he don't Chundria, go.